The following are only some of the steps done at the bar and designed for a complete beginning student. There are many more, but for now, let's not get overloaded. The whole concept is to enjoy. If you have an understanding of these, it will provide you with a good foundation. In time, we will get to many more steps at the bar, center floor, and across the floor. Patience truly is a virtue. What to know before your first lesson at the bar. The following are descriptions of how each step is done at the bar. It is best and a lot less frustrating to get introduced and acquainted with the fundamentals of individual steps before putting them into combinations. That will be in the next few videos. Positions of the feet. Remember to keep your legs turned out, but only from the hips and without overdoing. First position, the heels are touching each other. Second position, the feet are apart. For now, in second position, keep your heels as far apart as the width of your hips. For instance, if your hips are 12 inches apart, then your heels should be the same. Fourth position, one foot is in front of the other. Fifth position, one heel is touching the big toe of the other foot. With legs turned out from the hips, only one heel will touch the big toe of the other foot. In fourth position, it can be performed open or closed. They are different, but both artistically correct. You can imagine a closed fourth is like you're standing on a tightrope, and an open fourth has each foot on one side of the tightrope. When you slide the foot forward from first position, you are in an open fourth. When you slide it forth from fifth position, you are in a closed fourth. You will notice that I did not mention third position. That is where the heel is in the middle of the other foot. It is not used as much in the traditional ballet lesson. For now, we'll stick to the first, second, the closed fourth, and fifth positions. We start with the arms. Demi Plie. Porte-bras means to move the arms. Demi means small or half. For details, watch the number 4 clip, Posture, Balance, and Turnout. There are several ways the arms will be moving and posing in ballet, depending on what step you are doing. For bar work, each set is started with your feet either in first or fifth position, depending on what you're doing, and doing a demi-porte-bras with your arms when the music begins. Traditional ballet music has a preparation. That's where you hear the tempo and do your demi-porte-bras. That is when you start the step. Demi Plie is a small or half bending of the knees, keeping the knees over the feet at the same angle. Careful not to let the feet roll under and keep the little toes on the floor. The hips are centered and the correct body alignment, with no arching spine. In a demi-plie, the heels stay on the floor. Grand plie is where you go almost all the way down. To do a grand plie, count to 4 as you do the movement. Start with 1, which is a demi-plie, then 2, which is the grand plie, then 3, which is back up to demi-plie, then 4, which is straight knees again. Notice that number 1 and number 3 are the same. To practice grand plie, let yourself go down into a squatting position. Now pull yourself up 2 to 3 inches from that pose. That is how far down you should go in a grand plie. Make sure not to go further and into a squatting position for any grand plie. This is the same for fourth and fifth positions. Note that in first, fourth, and fifth positions, the heels come off the floor at the same time, and that you are standing over both feet evenly the whole time, and that you come back up by pressing both heels back onto the floor at the same time. Fourth position is a bit trickier, but the same rules apply. For fourth position, keep your body weight over both feet evenly and make sure the heels come off the floor and press back onto the floor at the same time. For second position, the heels stay on the floor during a grand plie. A note on turnout, especially in fifth position. Do not try to twist the feet into a 180-degree fifth position. That twist is called torque and will only cause trouble in all the dance steps you perform, both at the bar and center floor. Always keep in mind that turnout comes from the upper part of the legs and not from the feet. This will give you a good grip on the floor and make for good dancing. Releve is where you lift your heels. For now, you should practice this slowly and also with and without Demi Plie. Simply lift the heels, keeping the toes and balls of the feet on the floor. That position is called Demi Plie, or to the half point. Remember that in Demi Plie, all of the toes and balls of the feet remain on the floor. All the way up, or en point, will come later and with special shoes to help you perform it safely and correctly. Patience is a virtue. Many steps are done in the demi-point position, so it is important to have a correct and strong stance on the floor when performing it. Make sure you have your weight a little more toward the big toes and not pulled back to the little toes where you might start sickling. A good way to optimize the height of the demi-point is to bend the knees and gently force the feet over the knees. This will pull the heels higher. Now, straighten the knees and see if you can keep your heels as high. Everyone has different shaped feet, so just make sure that you are doing it the best that you are able. Tendu is when the foot stretches and points and the toe stays on the floor. When in tendu and extended, the pointed foot should just barely be touching the floor, and all the weight should be on the supporting leg. Degage is like tendu, but where the pointed foot leaves the floor 3 to 4 inches. Practice with straight knees as you extend out and in, not letting the knees bend or loosen. As you do these steps, remember the articulation of the feet, the heel ball toe and the toe ball heel. En croix means the shape of a cross. For ballet, it is the concept of front, side, back, and side, relative to the bar. Do your tendu again, starting in fifth position. Point to the front, close back to fifth, then point side. Now close fifth in back, then tendu point back, close in back, then point side, and close fifth position in front. You have now executed tendu en croix. Rond de jambe can be performed à terre, or on the ground, or grand rond de jambe, or lifted off the ground. This is also a good time to introduce en dehors and en dedans. Drawing a half circle on the floor, the knees stay straight all the way around. Let's practice a rond de jambe à terre. Start in first position. Slide the leg forward to a tendu to the front. Notice that your knees are straight and that you pushed the heel forward, assuring that the legs stayed turned out the whole time. Then bring the leg to the side by sliding the pointed foot. The toe of the pointed foot is still touching the floor. Make sure your leg is turned out, otherwise your heel will fall behind you. Now slide the toes to the back. The tricky part is here when you slide the leg forward again into a first position. The knees must remain straight when going into and out of the first position. Make sure you're also using the toe ball heel concept for this. You've just done a rond de jambe à terre en dehors, or to the front. Now you can perform rond de jambe en dedans. Just reverse the movement, sliding your foot to the back, then to the side, then to the front, then back to first position. Make sure to keep the legs actively turned out the whole time. Coup de Pied means neck of the foot, which refers to the ankle. This is a strange wrapped shape for the foot. Lift the foot off the floor and bring it to the front of the other foot just above the ankle. With the heel on the front of the supporting leg just above the ankle bone, wrap the foot around and below the ankle towards the Achilles tendon. That is coup de pied in front. To do coup de pied in back, freeze the foot in that wrapped shape and bend the knee to bring the foot to the back just behind the ankle. The big toe is angled away from the supporting leg. Remember that the foot is in the same shape, whether it is in front or in back. Serre is a movement that makes the leg with the foot remaining in the coup de pied position. Pressing and holding the knee back, imagine your knee is the hinge on a gate. With a sideways or horizontal movement, and using the knee joint only, bring the foot to the side and then to the back position. Then open it and bring it into the front. With practice, you'll be able to do it faster. Frappe is a brushing movement. Start with your foot in coup de pied and brush the leg out to the front. As you extend, the bottom of the ball of the foot brushes the floor. It snaps out like releasing a rubber band. Coupe means chopped off. This is a fully pointed foot, like a retire, but only 3 to 6 inches off the floor. Coupe can be in front or in back. In front, only the little toe should be touching the supporting leg. Remember to bevel the foot. Develope. Start in 5th position. Using your heel ball toe movement, lift your leg off the floor. Let it slide up with the toe of the pointed foot against the supporting leg until the toe is just below the knee. Depending on the method of ballet, the foot can slide up the leg either in front or up the side. This position is called retire. Now push the foot forward, moving the foot before letting the knee move. Extend the leg forward until it is straight, remembering to keep both legs turned out. Height is not the important thing here. Make sure your hips are aligned, both knees are straight, and you have correct body posture. From there, lower the leg, keeping it tight and turned out. As soon as the pointed foot touches the floor, bring it back into fifth position. Make sure to keep the knee straight and that you're using the toe ball heel to get back into fifth position. Passe and Retire. These two names often get confused. A retire is a pose, something you can take a picture of. The toe of the pointed foot is either in front or on the side of the supporting leg. Usually this is just below the kneecap of the supporting leg. If it goes much higher, the body alignment will fall out of place and suffer. Passe is a movement, usually starting in fifth or fourth position in front, lifting to the retire position and then coming back down to fifth position or fourth position in back. This passe would be called passe en dehors. Lifting from the back and closing to the front would be a passe en dedans. En cloche, a swinging bell-like motion. This can be used as a ballet step or as a warm-up exercise to prepare the hips for an easier flowing movement. Swing one leg forward and back. If used as a warm-up exercise, keep the hips loose and don't focus on turnout so the muscles and tendons can easily move. Make sure not to swing too hard as injury can occur. Grand battement, big kicks. For beginners, it is recommended that the movement be performed in 4 parts, breaking each into focused parts. First, tendu the foot forward. Second, lift or gently kick the leg forward. Remember to focus on how accurately you perform the movement, not how high. Third, lower leg back to tendu, keeping straight knees, correct body alignment, and both legs turned out. Fourth, close into a fifth position. Now kick to the side, starting with the same tendu. Remember about the side and that it is not at a right angle. A basic rule to follow for now is that the torso comes first. Keep the hips and shoulders at a right angle to the bar. The kick will not be as high at first, but for now it is far more important to keep the body in proper alignment. When you become more familiar with it, you can allow the hips to move a little bit, and then you will be able to get a much higher kick. Now bring the working leg to fifth position and back, and perform the kick to the back. When performing this to the back, you'll notice that your leg will not go as high. For now, at the beginning levels, keep the body in alignment and in place. With more experience, you'll be able to kick higher by controlling the use of the hips and lower back. After bar stretches. A reminder, this is mainly for beginning students of ballet. As such, it contains only some basic methods of stretching. Once you gain expertise in ballet, you will add your own unique recipe to best prepare yourself. First, at the bar, or holding something solid that won't move. Stretch out the Achilles, the quadriceps, and the hamstrings. Next, sit on the floor, legs together, out in front of you with knees straight. Stretch forward, see if you can grab your feet, or try to get your nose on your knees. Then, repeat with the legs apart, stretching over one leg, then the other. The butterfly is next. Sit up, feet together, knees bent, grab your ankles, and bounce the knees. For the naturally limber ones among us, there won't be much of a stretch, but the muscles and ligaments are stimulated to help prepare you for the rest of the lesson. Repeat the head movements from the before the bar exercise. Circles of the feet are also beneficial, loosening up the muscles and ligaments in the ankles. Now you're ready for ballet steps center floor. You can help us get the word out. Give us a like, subscribe, follow, and share.